Hey, welcome. This is Alan Percy. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing here at Audiocodes in North America, and thanks for joining us for this very special link-based video interview and partner spotlight. I'm joined here today by Chris Stig. He's the VP of Sales and Strategy for Enabling Technology. And Chris, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Alan. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, we would love to hear a little bit about Enabling Technology. Why don't you give us start out with a little overview of the company, and start out maybe with the number of employees and where you're based.
Sure. Enabling Technologies is located, headquarters anyways, is located out of the Baltimore suburbs. Well, we work everywhere. We are a Microsoft Link integrator primarily. So we use Microsoft's unified communications tools to their fullest. At home today in Chicago, running over my cable modem to your system there in New Jersey, and we do this every day. So we're hiring experts where they live and putting the technologies to use. There's about 30 of us. We've been in business for about 20 years and have since 2007 dedicated our company to the success of unified communications with Audiocodes and specifically Microsoft as the call processing platform.
Wow, that's impressive. That's very good. Hey, maybe how about some special certifications? Any special certifications our listeners should know about?
Well, we're an Audiocodes elite partner, and we also have at least 4 engineers on the team that have been through either OCS Masters, which is their highest and elite certification, or Link Masters. So we hire experts that can go out there and get this stuff done right the first time, and put a lot of attention on technical expertise. We don't have a broad practice. We don't do Active Directory or Windows migrations or anything like that, but are strictly focused on Link, Exchange, and Office 365 as it pertains to Microsoft's platforms. And Audiocodes Gateway is using them with Link, integrating with PBXs, integrating with the public switch telephone network, and in fact even using your SBC platforms to integrate to SIP trunks.
Wow, that's great. That's very impressive. So tell me a little bit about, do you have a particular geography you work on or vertical markets that you focus on?
We are everywhere and we work anywhere. So no, we have sales teams coast to coast, and engineers, as I mentioned, live where they work. And we're really approaching Link and UC as a horizontal. For anybody that wants to deploy it, there are specific benefits and use cases. So we're keen and adept on plugging those and discovering those and putting them to practice in their business.
Great, great. Well, before we started our recording, we were talking about some of your customer successes, which are obviously very impressive. So why don't we start with sharing, one of your successes?
Okay. So these all 3 recently come to mind. One is the California State University in LA. They had an existing Nortel serving their campus, and they had some new buildings going up and new needs. So they decided to go with Microsoft Link for their dial tone, but they realized they couldn't do a flash cut because they still had lots of people on existing phones that worked fine, that they didn't really have a budget for in the last 12 months to go and rip and replace. So what we did with a Mediant 3000 gateway is we put it in front of the phone system, interfaced the PRIs from their carrier with the Audiocodes, and then fed PRIs back to the PBX, so the Audiocodes becomes essentially a tandem switch. From the Audiocodes, though, we can split calls that go over to Link for those users who are already on the new system. So existing users get sent back to the Nortel, new users on Link get flashed over to the IP network with the SBC in place, and we've got a best of both worlds, a hybrid, if you will, for them to slowly but on their own time take people off the old platform and move them on the new, but leave your equipment in the middle for the long term to be the intelligent migration engine. By the way, there's no user interface or interchange needed. The administrators don't need to get involved. All they need to do is go into Active Directory, enable the person for Link voice, give them a phone, and the gateway does the rest. So it automatically diverts inbound calls now towards Link as opposed to sending it back to the PBX.
Oh, that's a great story. Matter of fact, it fits in really nice with a lot of what we've been talking about in our webinar series this summer was about making that UC migration, and that's a perfect example of using that basically we call it drop and insert architecture to redirect traffic over to the link server, as people are ready to it. So that's great. You also, too, you had a second example you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, that's certainly not all. Another great fit for Audiocodes is in branch offices. So we've got a German manufacturer of major equipment in manufacturing environments that has the broad spectrum of remote sites and existing PBXs at these remote sites. They deployed Link in their headquarters, but deployed Audiocodes Mediant 1000 survivable branch appliances in each of their locations. So the trend is when that PBX is too old to deal with, or the features of Link are better than the other old system, they'll replace that PBX with a Link survivable branch appliance. They get all the UC features, and now they get a gateway at the branch that services their local dial tone and gives them survivability in the event of a WAN failure or in the failure of a network core where Link resides. So a real nice flexible solution for them at a very nice price point.
Well, that's great, too, especially, I would imagine, in educational verticals where that's important to make sure that, they don't have to close the school just because of an outage in network infrastructure. To be able to stay open, I think, is important. So that's great.
Also in that vertical, speaking of education, where we have Jackson-Madison County Schools in Tennessee, where they have a centralized Link system. And what they did is they put a big gateway in their core to interface to the telco. And so some of the smaller schools can interface to that gateway and come over their WAN and get out from the central site. They don't have to put a gateway in every location. But for places where they already had a T1 and enough volume of calls to make sense, they put in a survivable branch appliance. So it's a bit of a mix. Some are centralized out of the pool in the core, and some of them are getting local dial tone in and out of their survivable branch appliance. So there's a nice Swiss Army knife approach to your products that give us a lot of flexibility.
Oh, that's great. Well, I could say that the flexibility and the features I think that come along with UC really dramatically changed the marketplace. So, good work there. Hey, and so as we wrap up today's interview, maybe let's leave our listeners with a couple of key takeaways. If there's a few things you wanted to remind them about enabling technologies, what would they be?
Well, we are your cradle-to-grave Microsoft UC integrator. And bring the resources and the associated manufacturing hardware providers like Audiocodes to bear to give a complete solution, starting with planning and design to, of course, project management and implementation, all the way to the end where we're a managed services provider to some of our customers who love the features but don't have the staff to handle it. So we can do a little bit of everything. And so for those that want the hands-on approach, we're there. For those that just want us to be a subject matter expert in a slice of their implementation, we're there as well.
Well, that's great. We really appreciate you spending the time with us today. Another good example of one of our outstanding partners that are part of the Audiocodes Partner Elite program, and we'll look forward to having you participate in some of our physical activities like Enterprise Connect coming up this next spring and other chances to work together. So with that, this is Alan Percy, again, Director of Marketing here at Audiocodes with Chris Daig, and we're signing off for today. Thanks for listening.